come to order. There's a quorum present, and all the commissioners are present as a matter. All legal notices have been duly posted, and the court's duly called. Is there a motion to open court? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Carries unanimously. David, please open court.
Please rise. The Dallas County Commissioners Court is now in session for the March 2012 term with the Honorable Clay Lewis Jenkins presiding. Please remain standing for the invocation.
And our invocation today will be given by my guest, Jerry Jaffrey. He's affiliated with Valley Ranch Mosque in Irving, Texas, where he calls for prayers in the mosque and sometimes leads prayers. He's been a resident of Dallas for 20 years. He's married and has 3 daughters. He's an engineer with Frontier Telecommunications and the host of a community radio program entitled Political Affairs on 1220 AM.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. Good morning. And you can't stay away from howdy. Ashhadu la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. I bear witness that there is no God worthy of worship except God Almighty, and Muhammad is his slave and messenger. I will, God willing, recite a small surah or a verse from chapter 4 of the Holy Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله يأمركم أن تؤدوا الأمانات إلى أهلها وإذا حكمتم بين الناس أن تحكموا بالعدل إن الله نعم ما يعظكم به إن الله كان سميعا بصيرا. The translation is, surely Allah, the Creator, commands that you should render and give back the trust to those to whom they are due, and that when you judge amongst people, you judge with fairness and justice. Undoubtedly, excellent is the counsel which God Almighty gives you. Truly, He is the one who hears and observes all. That was the translation, and here's some prayers for us all. O Lord of the universe and humankind, remove their affliction and send down cure and healing for those who need curing, for no one can cure but you. Guide the judges and those you have blessed with knowledge and wisdom and jurisprudence, to help those who seek justice and who come to these courts for restoration of their rights. O Allah, God Almighty, the merciful, guide our leaders, the judges and these courts in removing the suffering of those who are in distress and don't have enough resources and come here to seek help. Help these officials to stand out firmly for justice, and so they can help those who need help from these courts and offices. O the most merciful, O the most kind, God Almighty, bless this gathering, and those who work here or pass through these offices. Dear God Almighty, bless the city of Dallas, our state of Texas, and the great country of United States of America we call home. Amen. Amen.
We'll be considering items on our official agenda. We'll recess for our informal work session. There are no registered speakers today. We'll then convene closed session to consider items as allowed by law. We do have 5 resolutions today, and the first is from Commissioner Dickey.
Thank you, Judge. And I'd like to ask my friend Jean Dean and her husband David to come forward. This is a resolution for Jean, and I'll give the resolution and then ask for some comments from you, Jean. Whereas Jean Meyer Dean moved to Dallas from Arkansas in 1977 to attend SMU, and she graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering in 1981. And Jean began her career as a consulting civil engineer in Dallas, and in '84 became one of the founders of Nathan B. Mayer Consulting Engineers, where she served as the president and CEO since 1997. In March of this year, Jean will celebrate 28 years of service with this engineering company. And Jean has held numerous positions on both the state and local levels of the American Society of Civil Engineers, including serving as the Dallas branch president. She's also held numerous offices with the Texas Society of Professional Engineers, Dallas chapter, including president. Jean remains actively involved in a number of professional organizations and serves the community as a member of the board of directors for several business and civic organizations, including the North Dallas Chamber of Commerce, the North Texas Crime Commission, and Dean Learning Center. Jean is currently the chairman of the North Texas Crime Stoppers Reward Committee. And whereas Jean received the Texas Society of Professional Engineers, Dallas branch, Young Engineer of the Year Award in '92, and in 2004, she was awarded the Outstanding Engineer of the Year from the Dallas chapter of the American Society of Civil Engineers. And whereas on February 14, 2012, Jean Meyer Dean was named the Engineer of the Year by the Texas Society of Professional Engineers, Dallas chapter. Whereas Jean is married to David A. Dean, a public policy attorney and consultant, who is president and CEO of Dean International, David Dean Associates. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby recognize Jean Meyer Dean on 28 years of service with Nathan Meyer Consulting Engineers, and congratulates her on being named the Texas Society of Professional Engineers, Dallas Chapter Engineer of the Year for 2012. And I so move. And all in favor? Aye. Jean, thank you. I wanted to just give you special honor for this statewide award. You've gotten all the local awards, you scooped them up, and now the statewide award. And would you like to introduce your significant other and say a few words?
Thank you, Commissioner Dickey. I first want to thank you for sponsoring this resolution, and thank each one of you on the board for signing it as well and supporting it. And yes, I would like to introduce my husband, David Dean, and he's been a major part of me being able to do such things with the engineering community. And on behalf of all of the engineers in the area, I'd like to thank you for supporting the engineering community as well. Thank you very much.
Jean, I know how closely you work, your firm works with Public Works Department. I can say this, there's no place you can go in the region dealing with transportation where you're not at that and plugging in and doing good things, and we appreciate all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. I have the honor of being with you and David, of course, in many projects, and I do thank you for all you do, and congratulations for the service.
Yeah, on a different note from y'all's service, in 1970 there was a mom who was working 2 jobs and she had a dyslexic son. And Dr. Dean, Bill Dean, let him into the Dean Learning Center. So on behalf of me, that son, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate all your work for the Dean Learning Center.
Thank you, Judge.
Would you like to commissioners up here?
Jake, come on up, we'll get some more pictures. Sure.
Yeah, we got picture takers.
Judge, before I do my three resolutions, I would like to recognize someone from our HR department, Susan Bethel. If you would stand up, I just wanted to give out a congratulations to her for the job well done. And she's the staff development specialist in our HR department. I attended a Garden Chamber banquet the other day, and she was there and received an award on behalf of Dallas County. And she was cited, Dallas County was cited as the corporate partner of the year, and it's through her efforts. And I just wanted to give her congratulations and thank you for the job. And I also have three resolutions for some young gentlemen that achieved the Eagle Scout Award. And I'm going to move all three of them at the same time. They'll be presented at a later date at a different event. Urethi Kemet, Carrie Baylor, Trent McRae, and Steve Walton. And I so moved.
And I second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And our last resolution today is from Commissioner Garcia. Commissioner Garcia, before you give that resolution, I see our new employee with the budget office here. Ryan, if you want to introduce your newest member of the budget office?
My name is Erica Terrazas, and I'm new with the budget office.
She is a relatively recent graduate of the LBJ school, right?
That's great. What area is she in, right?
Sheriff's Office, District Attorney.
You don't like Good luck. That's a training ground right there.
Lots of training ground.
That's right.
Welcome, Mr. Rosas. Judge, colleagues, members of the audience, I'm very happy to recognize and give a resolution today to Child Abuse Prevention Month, which is April. And I have representatives from different organizations here today. Can you please come forward to the microphone? We have, people from the Child Abuse Prevention Center, North Texas Democratic Women, CASA, and Text Protector. And they're going to introduce themselves in a minute. But the resolution reads as follows. Whereas child abuse and neglect is a community problem affecting the whole community, and finding solutions depends upon the involvement of citizens throughout the community. And whereas 30 Dallas County children of the 2031 Texas children, over 4 children a week died from child abuse in year 2011, an increase of 76% over 2010. And in Dallas County, 5,069 children, 14 children a day, were confirmed victims of child abuse and neglect. And 65,948 total Texas children were confirmed children abuse and neglect victims in 2011. And whereas in Dallas County, 534 children in CPS care in 2006, or 18% were re-abused within 5 years. In family-based safety services, and child abuse and neglect can cause children to have medical, psychological, emotional, and social problems, including major drug, alcohol abuse, and poor academic performance that significantly decreases school achievement. And whereas children who are abused and neglected are 53% more likely to be arrested as juveniles, and 38% more likely to be arrested for a violent crime in adulthood. And child abuse and neglect cost our state approximately $6 billion per year, costing Dallas County $482,000 per year in the aftermath of child abuse. Whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed in part because of partnership created among federal, state, and local officials, medical and social service agencies, non-profit and private foundations, school, religious organizations, law enforcement, government agencies, the business community, and of course volunteers and families. And whereas we recognize that most parents endeavor to be good parents and do not abuse their children, but all citizens should become more aware of child abuse and prevention programs within our communities, and become involved in supporting parents and other caregivers to raise their children in a safe, nurturing environment. Now therefore be resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Dallas County, hereby proclaim April 2012 Child Abuse Prevention Month in Dallas County. And additionally, that we, with the Child Abuse Prevention Month Committee, call upon our citizens, legislature, and other elected officials, community agencies, religious organizations, medical facilities, schools, and businesses to increase their participation in efforts to prevent child abuse and neglect, and advocate for child abuse prevention investment, thereby strengthening the health, safety, and productivity of the citizens in the community of which we live. And I so move.
And I second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Would you like to introduce the group and all the members?
Good morning. My name is Madeline McClure. I'm the founding executive director of the Texas Association for the Protection of Children. And behind me are the members of the Child Abuse Prevention Month Task Force, made up mostly of a community organization called CAPCO, the Child Abuse Prevention Coalition. So thank you, Dr. Garcia, for offering the proclamations here. And every year, Waterloo does that. And thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners, for offering this proclamation. I know you've got many proclamations in every week, and you've got lots of county business ahead of you, so we don't want to take up too much time, but I do appreciate the fact that you're taking some time to acknowledge the 30 children that were starved or pummeled or beaten to death or abandoned this past year. I was looking at some statistics. Last night, Dallas County population grew by less than 7% in the last 10 years. So, and at the same time, the average number of Dallas County kids that died due to abuse and neglect were 20 children annually in the last 10 years. But they jumped to 30 this past year. So, I guess that's all I have to say.
Madam, before you go, let me ask. We heard about the young lady yesterday who allegedly slit the throat of a child. When we hear about this one, how much does mental illness come into play with regards to what's going on with child abuse? I mean, are there any statistics? I have not been able to recall or see anything that kind of distinguishes that.
No, that's an excellent question. And that's just exactly right. I mean, right before that news report, what did we see? The city was grappling with a staggering backlog of road repairs. I mean, we've got a staggering backlog of child abuse cases. We are overwhelmed still. Now, Dallas is in good shape, much better shape. But now that Austin is dealing with a crisis of unbelievable proportions, we're sending our caseworkers down there to help them out. So, but in this particular case, mental health issues, huge contributor to child abuse. Along with an unwanted child, we see a huge correlation of substance abuse. But why do 90% of our clients use substances? Very often, they're self-anesthetizing or ameliorating their own mental illness because we don't have the right mental health system. You saw that the police were out there 3 times, no less than 3 times, and did nothing. They have no tools. So, you know, the most important line in that proclamation today was effective child abuse prevention programs work because of the community coming together on the federal, on the state, on the local level, with our nonprofits, with our religious organizations, with medical, with the business community. So I do challenge this year, you know, Commissioners Court to, let's put some teeth behind this proclamation, not do it once a year, and get together and talk about a real strategic plan that does have teeth, where we really can do an intensive amount of services as a pilot here in Dallas and make us the model for the rest of the state. And that would include those kinds of supports for families that are isolated, those kinds of supports, the prevention programs, those in-home visitation programs we know are proven with evidence to not only reduce child abuse and neglect, but to save state and local costs. So this is the kind of things, I can't imagine one Tea Party member saying they wouldn't put a few more dollars per year into effective child abuse prevention programs that actually showed we could save state and local dollars.
A little bit on that. But look, let me ask you, and I want the record to be real clear. This court has been very supportive, whether it's Child Partnership Act, whether it's funding caseworkers and child welfare, which again is all part of it. This court has done that, and anything that you've asked, this court has responded.
Yeah, no, and don't get me wrong. I first of all, let me, again, I always thank you guys every year for your support. And let's not minimize what you have done. We are one of the few counties that does support our CPS task force workforce amazingly. I mean, you've done a phenomenal job. What I'm saying is, let's take it to the next level, work on a real prevention strategy. And you have done a lot with True Nurse Network Partnership, et cetera. So I'm just saying, we need those child supports, child care supports, those respite care supports, that mental health component, the substance abuse treatment, those kinds of things. And really and truly, I'll bring the foundations, I'll bring the business people. Let's, get together. I'm really willing to do this. And I'm on the task force for child abuse and neglect prevention at the state level. We need a county that will be the model, or not Dallas. So anyway, sorry I got so upset.
That's the reason I wanted to get you on another. I knew Mr. Button.
Thank you very much.
And Madeline, one of the things that our court was talking about last week was looking for a way to put the track program in the budget, because we feel that is so important, and such a large percentage of those kids end up going to prison and don't have good eds because they get thrown out of the system so early.
Well, that's, and that's like where the continuum comes together, whereas, those are the kids that suffer the consequences the most, but they're our next generation. They're the ones that are more likely to have births and homeless and drugs, et cetera, again, to self-anesthetize from the horrors they experienced as children. So, we've got to work with that population in order to prevent the next generation, and the next generation of children from experiencing the horrors of most preventable death in the world.
I think that track order is on this week, is it not? This week?
No, it's not.
Not this week.
It's not.
You want to introduce everybody? Yeah, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lynn Brooks. I'm here on behalf of Dallas CASA, Court Appointed Special Advocates. We're, of course, an organization of volunteers who are appointed by judges to advocate for the best interests of children and protective care. And as we all know, all children have a right to be safe. And during April Child Abuse Prevention Month, we hope to bring greater awareness to the plight of abused children. But we are at CASA are very grateful and value our partnerships with the Commissioner's Court and the other organizations represented here today to work on behalf of abused children to help raise awareness and to make sure all our communities' children are safe. And we thank everyone here for all of their support.
And congratulations to you on your new state executive director. And your gain is the state's loss, and we worked with Ms. Briggs over the years. You're fortunate. You'll have a new burst of energy and direction.
We've already seen it for a short time.
I'm Katie Seisler. I'm also with Dallas CASA and part of the committee for the Child Abuse Prevention Month awareness event. Thank you all so much for your support and for all that you do for CASA and for all the organizations represented today. I'm Jessica Trudeau. I'm very short. I'm the executive director of the Child Abuse Prevention Center and the chair of this amazing committee. Our center works to prevent child abuse before it ever occurs, and so our goal is to work with high-risk families so that we're never dealing with any of these issues that we're talking about. I'm also a survivor, and so as an individual and as a leader of this organization, I'm so grateful to each of you for making this the issue that it needs to be. It's one of the most important issues in our city, in our county, and our nation, so I thank you for all your work. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Lorraine Esterline. I'm with Texas as well. I'm Director of Development. I just wanted to thank you all for having us.
Hello, member of the North Dallas Texas Democratic Women, and visiting for this great
Democratic Women. And I'm the engineering go-to guy for this group.
Well, thank you all, and let me just close by saying that prevention is the key, but protection is the goal. And on Monday, April the 2nd, we will have at the Kennedy Plaza on the side of the old Red Courthouse Museum from 11 to 1. I hope that everybody that is here today can join us, for all our listening audience as well. You are invited. We're going to have Scott Moran, Jennifer Sampson with the United Way of Metropolitan Dallas, Dale Hansen, and former Foster Youth testimony. It's going to be a fantastic program. I invite you all to come and get awareness about child abuse, because those numbers, these stats are not right. And in the best country in the world, it's not acceptable. So it's in our hands to make a difference, and I appreciate Josh for your support, Commissioner Parks, and Commissioner Cantrell, and Commissioner Hickey. I know together we can make a difference. Thank you all for being here.
Let me remind you that on the ground floor of the City Hall, there will be an exhibit representing the children that we've lost. So if you're down at City Hall, run by and do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Another picture, y'all.
Yeah, sure, why not?
And while they're coming, the last resolution, the immediate resolution, I now know who to hold responsible, did not know earlier, and that's David Dean Daddy. Yesterday was Judge Jenkins' birthday, and
And I have a small present for you. Something healthy without caffeine.
Without
Let's stay together.
How could it do that? The caffeine keeps it exciting. Hey, this is the last group. Before you leave, Matt and I, we are working, the Commissioners Court is working with the state to try to change the North Star formula. North Star is the mental health money, and it looks like we're going to have some luck in doing that. So you may want to talk to North Star and also the state about mental health programs that would be particularly helpful for abusers and for the kids.
Okay. And Madam, let me ask you to contact them so we can talk about that. That's covered.
Yeah, we're looking into.
I'll go do that.
Okay.
Please do contact.
God bless.
All right, that takes us to our consent agenda. Is there a motion on the consent agenda? All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Is there a motion on the bids? Second. All those in favor? Next, we have four orders.
I will decide one by envelope.
Envelope, please. Okay, oh wait, next we have court orders 10 through 36. Well, actually 14 and 16 for is your motion on those orders?
Second.
Judge,
I have a, you want to show me voting no on order 13. And I'm not sure, Mr. Darrell, item number 13, I'm not sure why you made that for Rolando Rios, and I haven't nothing against Rolando Rios, but refresh my memory, the only thing we have left on our redistricting after we voted last week was to send those numbers to the Justice Department. Okay. So the individual that we hired was Jerry Heber in that angle, but I guess I'm not. What will Mr. Rails be doing?
Mr. Beals worked with Jerry Heber initially on the initial submission, and they'll be working just to monitor the submission going forward. You're right.
We're not going to pay to monitor that. Well, I guess what I'm saying is we're at a point now where all you're doing is bundling it up and sending it to the Justice Department. Why should we be paying additional attorney's fees?
The only reason we put that in there is that if there are any questions from the Department of Justice that are going to come back, since they worked on it together initially for the initial submission, that they would work together to answer any questions coming forward from DOJ. If not, then...
Right, but anything we're doing, we submitted to this court first, or in a closed session. Nobody gets a chance just to say that there's a...
Right. Part of the contract is that they would need approval to do any work from this court before.
Right, okay, yeah, so I don't...
Well, I thought, based on Mr. Heber's experience with the Department of Justice, having served there for all that time, that's why this court would hand him with regards to the district. Why would we be using his services to submit that?
We will. We'll be using both. We're using his services to submit, and then we also just monitor in case there are any questions that come back, being that they work on the initial submission together, that they would work on any questions.
Like we did at the beginning.
Right.
And also show me voting no on 13 for two reasons. One is that I think the redistricting was a mess, very flawed, and I voted consistent in everything having to do with it. But second, I think it's that this is an opportunity for the taxpayer to pay money that's not necessary to be spent. And so for that reason also, I'm voting no.
Well, let me remind the court of the record real clearly. When we made our submission, we were the only municipality, first of all, that did it within the 60 days that is prescribed by DOJ, had no commentary, and passed flawlessly. We were the only municipality. And everyone else, and I don't care whether you were city or school board, you were trained. Dallas County did it within the 60 days and pretty clear. That's
Because we have
No
14, a diverse team.
and number two, I said in the preface is that there'll be no work, there'll be advance or money expended except it comes back before this court and through closed session through legal counsel where it's supposed to.
That is in the contract, that will need approval from the district attorney's office to the court.
Right.
And Tony Pickens pulled by the elections office before any work was made.
And that includes monitoring.
Correct.
That includes everything.
Include
It doesn't
that.
make any difference if it's an invoice submission. It's got to come back before this court to get justification.
Correct.
And we wanted to stay together.
Okay. Call for question.
I'm going to vote in favor. I have no problem including his name within the group of people who can answer questions being or ask. Likely, given that this match argument is clear, the only difference is
The way, Martin, that you had the contract drafted, attorneys will not receive double payments on this. If there's no questions by DOJ, then there'll be no payment made.
Correct.
So the submission is going to be done by Mr. Heber.
Correct.
your submission already been done.
Submission is due, it should be done shortly. It hasn't already been done. It hasn't.
Okay, so any further work will go into it. All right. That being the case, question. All those in favor? Let's see, we have no, session.
Yeah, before we do that, Mr. Brown, your entire staff seems, almost entire staff needs to be here. I'd like for them just all the staff, for the court to see your staff and the reflection of Dallas County that it exemplifies.
They're not on the trail.
They're not on the trail. Don't be ashamed. Don't be standing back there. The number two in charge. But I'd like for the staff to stand up and show that it reflects Dallas County. That's a family joke. We're looking around here.
He does an excellent job hiring.
He does an excellent job. It's not good to photo. You're not good. You failed the photo.
That's the right county. That's the right county. They're still in the traffic.
Make it better. Just put the weatherization 3 positions, right, Mr. Thompson?
The court is, reconvening our private session and recess for briefing session to consider items to be voted on in the subsequent session. I'll turn it over to Mr. Martin.
Well, Judge, Commissioners, item 1 is briefing agenda Health and Human Services. 1A, recommend approval of the agreement with the University of Texas and Alton School of Medicine. 1B, recommend approval of the amendment to the Department of State Health Services Contract for Public Health Emergency Preparedness. Item 2, engineering and project management. Recommend approval of a 5-year lease with Central Place Limited for use by the Dallas County Juvenile Department for a satellite office. Number 3, IT services. Recommend approval.
Dr. Smith and yesterday. I didn't ask how old this building and this property was. Have we had any of our people look at this property?
Yeah, Ms. Thompson has looked at the property as well as myself.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. Ms. Thompson not an engineer. Have we had any of our folks look at this property? As you know, we just got, Ms. Thompson, you back there? I know my glasses ain't working for you. Okay, that's what I thought.
Glasses?
Yeah. The only reason I'm asking is because of Lone Star, because yesterday I went out to Dallas, you know, a lot of these properties, we were starting, so I'm just from an engineering standpoint, for somebody to look at this property, okay? The guys made good over at Lone Star, you know, we had some real issues with that property.
And we'll make sure that happens, but we also, part of the contract, use your direction, make sure that all maintenance is covered by the lessor, not us.
Yeah, and I got that from you. The maintenance is fine. I just don't want to get in a property that has some issues. And, well, at least just kind of check it out. Okay?
We'll make sure that happens.
And Dr. Smith, also from me, I mean, and I totally agree with what Commissioner Price just said. It's a great deal. You know, it's not as big a space, but, you know, a cost per square foot is a good cost. Now, let me ask you, when this happens, how do we tell you know, the people that comes to that office that we're moving? What is the process? I mean, do we have a list, or it's just, you know, sign on the bill and say we have moved? How do we notify our constituents about the move?
We've already sent out emails to all the families, the neighborhood, all of the partners that we do business with, all of our vendors. They've already had that notification. The lease where we are now, they have agreed to put a sign up on the door saying where you can move to, in English and Spanish. So we will have all of those. We may miss a few through the cracks. However, we're hoping that on our county website, we'll have an announcement there too. So we'll look at all those items.
Do we have a timeline for the move? I know that we're still looking at the building.
The second week in April, I think we're Ms. Thompson's working on moving, so it's relatively soon.
It's already here. Okay, so we're already going through this process. When will it be in the website?
Whenever the move is made, we'll make sure it's on the website. Okay. We'll put notes on the website also.
Thank you. If you can let me know, just in case anyone calls my office, and obviously it's in Irving, which is in District 4, so let me know if there's anything I can do. Thank you so much, Dr. Smith. Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Dr.
I'm still trying to find the briefing agenda on the side.
Item 3, IT services, recommend approval of purchase of borrowing license for the scope of work with SharePoint and link with Microsoft funded from MPF and allocated reserve. Item 4, purchasing, recommends the release of RFP for tax statement preparation, printing, and mailing services for the tax office, authorized solicitation of proposal in accordance with local government code. Please note the evaluation committee will consist of representatives from road districts 2 and 4. The list is reading and briefing, but it's actually 2 and 4. Item 5, public works, recommend approval of the tax foreclosure resale policy for distribution county departments for 30-day review and comment. Item B and C, those quarters on the formal agenda. Item 6, conference travel training request.
Can I ask just real quick, Ms. Blair, about the Tiger Grant? I think this is exciting, Ms. Blair. Just elaborate a little bit for the record. I know we just passed it, but I forgot to mention it while we were voting on it.
Yes, Dr. Garcia. These two are projects that we previously had, basically had on our NCIP already, and the city of Dallas indicated that they wanted to put both of these two projects in for the Tiger Grant process. They had contacted us after the fact, which was the week we were off, so we went ahead and we got with COG. We realized that we can go ahead and give the information to COG this week. So this is just additional working with our partners on trying to collaborate and try to get the funding through the Tiger process.
Well, first of all, let me just thank you, staff, for all these meetings we've been having in these cities and solid redistricting and all that's going on, and especially since you brought up the city of Dallas. I was trying not to go there this morning, but look, let me just say, we need to produce very, very clear and concise what our policies are with regards to these thoroughfares. I am meeting with some people who got some things on the thoroughfare list. I said, you've got to be kidding me. They don't meet the criteria. And I don't think any of my colleagues don't know what they are, but kind of in a collaborative way, we need to generate to all of our cities, and especially those of us that pick up a lot of new cities, what the policy is regarding thoroughfares. They got some things on some of this, they don't meet the definition.
One thing to Commissioner here is with us going to the 6 call for projects right now. We're going to have workshops with them in May to go through and talk about projects, thoroughfare projects, as well as capacity improvement type projects as well. Capacity improvement projects and mobility projects.
Yeah, but that's fine, and I think that's due September or something. Yeah. Well, see, I'm talking about long before that. We're meeting with them, and they have projects that don't meet the criteria. And I don't know if other people. I just can't even imagine they're just putting forth some projects that don't meet the criteria. So I just. No. I'm talking about thoroughfares. I'm talking about cities. We're taking in, they're giving us their thoroughfare, excuse me, and they're just pushing projects up that they think, quote, meet the criteria.
One thing I think that we've been seeing here is a lot of cities have been putting a lot of maintenance type projects into the mix. Maintenance or reconstruction that are generally not really specifically for capacity or for mobility. Right. And they've been putting a lot of those on the table for us to review.
Yeah. And I guess what I'm asking the court to do is to generate a collateral that's to be, this is the criteria, okay? So, they don't feel like some commissioner making a unilateral decision. We have policies, and maybe just sort of, as in yesterday, city manager's been around, and he's been out there 2 years, and now until we show up, he said, wow, I didn't even know, this was in the loop. And he's been there 2 years. So, so not in deference only to him, but just other cities.
These meetings that we've been having have been very well welcomed with the cities because it's been giving us an opportunity to talk to each city about the status of their projects and also if we want to continue on. Usually until we get to our project-specific agreement, the project has not been well-defined yet. So it's still on hold until we get to the project-specific agreement.
But that's in CIP. Yeah, I'm not talking about you. Frame the letter, just get it to the court so we can get a chance to look at it, so we can put our cities on notice. No, you're exactly right. Those are CIP programs.
Right.
And so, no, I agree. And you're just done a great
That's
job.
a great job. And we also have a lot of new council members, a lot of representatives and staff that sometimes do not know where these projects have been. So I think this is a great opportunity. And of course, with type of grants, money has to be spent pretty quickly. And so those projects are specifically picked, to move quickly with the municipality and the county. So everything that moves quickly in government, I support that. So thank you,
Because
Mr.
it's moving quickly, some of them are trying to slip in, as you said, with some maintenance.
Commissioner, that's why we're here. So I think that's a great opportunity, and I'm glad that the county is participating in these projects, because I know Ms. Blair, it takes a lot of time, a lot of staff, and a lot of communication among different municipalities and entities. And I know how hard your staff has worked on this, and I commend you, and for me it's exciting news, and hey, we'll see how it comes out. Thank you. Thank you.
I think it'd be good if we look at a policy and really make some decisions. The city of Dallas comes out with a $4 billion plus need out there just for the maintenance needs that they have in the city. Our program is set up so that we can benefit the cities and benefit transportation, and that was one of the reasons why we set up NCIP the way we did. If the cities get to where they don't have the capacity to add new mobility, and then they have all this inventory of repairs and maintenance that they need to work on, and the county pulls back and says, okay, we're not going to participate in that, then we sit over here with our pot of money, and we wait for additional new mobility or new capacity projects. Then at some point in time, that inventory of unrepaired, maintained roads will impact our economy in this area.
Well, and I had that discussion with one of your cities, former cities, with regards to MCIP versus what some of us may call maintenance and or redevelopment. And one of the things we've always said is, at the end of the day, does it add to, like you said, our capacity improvement? Does it add to our bottom line? I'm just, and I hear what you're saying, Commissioner, that maintenance is a real slippery slope, because I think the moment, if we decide to revisit our policy, and we go down that road, I think we're going to immediately see change with them going to maintenance. Because they have, as you said, they've got maintenance needs.
Well, if you look at the state, clearly TxDOT and Fund 6, they said we don't have any capacity. And they found $2 million that they're going to parcel out across the state. But they're saying on a go-forward basis, all we have money for is maintenance. That's it. So I'm wondering what our program is really designed for. If we're throwing off, say, $40 to $50, $60 million a year on our MCIP, and the cities are not able to generate sufficient monies to be able to match us or to do their 50% match. So are we just going to hold on to our money and not let roads go down because they don't have the capacity to do that? And I think we have to do it in a very thoughtful and intelligent way and make sure that we don't get drug in and do what we have to do for the state, and that's pick up where the state backs off. And I understand exactly what you're saying, but here's the problem. When you look at our road and bridge stations, those funds that we generate there off the registration fee, they are not sufficient enough for us to be able to go out and do those things. So it may be that we want to, instead of changing the policy on NCIP, maybe divert some of that into road and bridge for maintenance.
Well,
but I want to be intelligent about it so that we don't end up with a program that really doesn't benefit
And again, that, Ms. Blanner will tell you that's precisely the conversation I had with one of the cities where you had, because you changed the paradigm and the dynamics. Because of some of those, sir, they now want to revert back, to the R&B and work, as you well imagine. And so, and I'm okay with that. I'm not trying to tell them. One of the things we had yesterday, if I could cut too close to the thing. We spent some time.
Peter, after you saw the choices.
Yeah, right. We spent that time yesterday, again, trying to move our cities to help them design, again, the priorities. That was a focal point, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and if it's changed, the dynamics have changed, then that's all we want to do. We want to know. We want to try to help them because, like you said, it's difficult to be with a city and all of a sudden we spring on them. They need $2.5 million for a project that they did in their call. That's if they don't let them buy in 2 years. So we understand those dynamics. Well, that's kind of what we do.
Pop up.
Well, that's what we said yesterday. In fact, the guy who was his predecessor just left a couple of months before that. And I said, well, okay, if we had never shown up, then we can't prioritize our work in terms of how we do it. All I'm saying to you, I agree. It doesn't matter. We don't have to generate, let the court revisit what the policy is, and let's talk about it. Let's get it back up. Let's talk about it. Because apparently the time has come.
Well, and Public Works is going to have a good idea of what the different cities are looking at out there. I mean, when you look at what is the city of Dallas going to do with half a billion, and $300 million of that is used up for flood control already, so they're looking at $200 million, and they have $4 billion worth of needs. That didn't go very far.
They really got $10 billion worth of need and about $400 billion.
One of the things, Commissioner Price, that my cities have been talking about, this is creative, is taking future credits on future roads they don't have the money for, or projects, and committing to doing those in the future when they do have the money, in order for us to do some of the things that they need immediately. So, that's something that is kind of good, and
So they would say, I'll pay 100% of this in the future.
right.
You'll pay money. This over here now.
Right. And we, I think that's a creative way of looking at it.
Well, again, I think.
And I don't know if our policy covers that. It's kind of a good thing, but it's worth considering.
I'm willing to look at it.
We've been able to do it because of the flexibility of the MCIP. We've been able to move projects out in the future because the city's not ready for it. The key thing here is it usually takes us 5 years to get a project into construction in the first place. So that gives us enough time to go through and review the project, start design process and so forth. And then the city is usually by that point ready to go ahead and get the funds available to start on the project. Just like yesterday, that particular city, we didn't start on the project yet until we had confirmation that they were ready. Of course, they were ready.
But that was a 2008 project called Copper Project. Right. In 2008, and they just said the guy did 2 years. So now here's 4 years later. Now, not only do they not have their money, they wasn't even on their radar screen. And just like somebody said a few minutes ago, you got a new council. Only 2 council people have been there since 2008. So they don't have a clue. They haven't brought it up to the new manager. It was like, okay, you have to spend all the time. And they said, okay, guys, y'all get back to us when you're ready. But my point is, I think this just brought up a new opportunity for us to review our policy and see if our policy needs some tweaking.
So I'd like to see how we blend in road and bridge maintenance fees in with the capital program. And we may allow some transfer of dollars there to where a district can make that decision based on the cities within that district. With the city's understanding that if you transfer money over to maintenance, then that precludes future new capacity projects. So it gives us a lot more flexibility. And
That's a good idea.
And what Commissioner Price is talking about, you know, if I had a city that all of a sudden didn't have that money, which I think they have some, that they don't have their money, then that gives us opportunity to work on other projects. So, and that's what MCIP allows us.
Ryan, when is our first afternoon budget briefing? When are we going to start scrubbing budget?
I haven't really set a timeline for that. I would anticipate it would be sometime in May.
Okay, well then, in the near future, let's have an afternoon session where staff comes up with ideas and we work through this issue.
Sure. We'll have to work with Alberta. We may want to see what the call for projects look like that are coming in from the cities as we just, look at any changes to the call.
Without any cuts to it.
But Commissioner Price makes a good point. We need to give them a little bit of an idea of what our policy is so they can tell us.
I wouldn't wait for those.
No.
Alberta, she's got a good idea, having gone through all those meetings. That's a lot, just for my district. I can't imagine doing all that.
We've done all of them.
I think the quicker we get through it, I think it'll help give them some direction, the cities are doing.
So the next step is, Ms. Blair, you will bring some recommendations, so where do we move from there?
Right. I think one thing too here is to look at how we set up the MCIP and basically the criteria that we set up already. And then also looking at the road and bridge policy, we've never put the two side by side in two separate points because of course that's been handled separately between each one of you. So to put the two side by side with a city, to have them have the opportunity, I think that's what's happening in a lot of these meetings, is to give them opportunity to see, okay, which way do we go with looking at the projects that we want to look at. And I think that's a good issue, is getting back and looking at the road and bridge policy and how it gets side by side with MCIP.
We'll work with Alberta over the next few weeks to put together a presentation for the court, and then we'll do an afternoon session later or early May.
And as we do that, two thoughts to keep in mind. This became very clear to Daryl and I as we negotiated with the cities about paying their fair share for the traffic patrol that we were doing in their cities. Several city managers had the feeling that it was our job to patrol their highways and keep the speed down in their streets, and that they owed nothing for that, and that we were asking them to assist us in doing our core responsibility. So over a 3 or 4 year period, it had switched from us doing their core responsibility for them to us asking them for assistance in doing something that was our job. And maintenance is clearly of their inner city roads, is clearly their job. So desperate times call for desperate measures. We want to be good friends, but we want to keep in mind that we don't want to replay that scenario where all of our money gets sucked away in the maintenance. The state is moving towards, that's what we'll be briefing soon with this transportation zone down on the Route 9 corridor. The state is moving towards saying they want to change the dynamic from everyone coming to the state and saying, it's my turn to get a road project, build me a road you built San Antonio Road last time. Just saying, here's how I can partner with you to build transportation in my area. And I'm not opposed to looking at changes, but I want to focus most of our attention on partnering with our cities, with the state, with others to build mobility and increase capacity and not take on the core responsibilities of the cities, because if we start doing that, there's just no end to it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I agree to a limited extent, Judge, but exactly what you're doing with the state right now is exactly what you're saying the city will be doing to the county. Because what you're doing is you're helping the state step back from their responsibility of funding transportation where we need it funded in the state of Texas. They're not funding it. They're looking for ways to push that down to us. They want to take our increment of any major developments along any corridor, and they want to take that and use it.
Well,
to fund transportation.
what we're talking about on that, Commissioner, is Loop 9, which is presently mostly a cow pasture.
We understand.
our choice is, do we want to keep all of the tax revenue in that cow pasture? Or do we want to use a small portion of the increased value of the tax revenue in that cow pasture when we turn it into a road that brings trucks into the inland port area and lifts up the tax value of southeast Dallas County? If we were to take that 25% and set it on fire and they built the road for us, we would have far more money coming in on the tax revenue, on the increased value, than if we didn't do this deal.
Well, what I'm telling you is Dallas County taxpayers pay more for transportation than any other large metropolitan area in the state because of the toll roads, because of what we put in as a county and what we're going to put in the future. You know, the state continues to back away from their responsibility of funding transportation the way it should be funded. So, you know, the same way that you're leery about what the city may think from us, I'm worried about what the state may look to us for.
But, yeah, and I understand that, but how is that any different than Fund 6 and everything else they rake out? You know, I mean, they jack it. And I guess I've been real tepid about how we proceed through this. And again, I'm buying into the Loop 9 of the Southern Belt Corridor, because if we don't, as you said, at the agriculture, at the designation that property out there is on the road, it just doesn't get done. And I hear you, Commissioner, but there's no different when we talk about child abuse a few minutes ago. That was state's responsibility.
Absolutely.
But we stepped up because they were our children, number one. And we felt responsibility, and our citizens have gotten some benefit. And I hear it. You know, one of the things I resisted saying was the fact that we're number 50 in 49, and then in terms of mental health. Fine. Sure. But still.
That's state level.
That's state level. Yeah, that's state level. But my point is that do we sit idly by? I mean, we're the only North Star region in the state. I mean, you mentioned that at the state legislature, and it's like somebody released killer bees. You know, it's like, oh, no way. So I guess I'm saying is we got to be as creative as we can be in terms of how we get to the next level. Because if we wait for them, it's just not going to happen.
And I totally understand. But I want to be very intelligent about how we do it. You know, you look at the DISCUS report over the 10-year period, this region was shorted $6 billion because we had the audacity to come up with toll roads and make our taxpayers pay for tolls. So they said, well, that region doesn't really need money because we have all of this capacity going on. We have over $10 billion worth of projects taking place right now. So,
I would not attribute that as the reason for the big change by the DISCUS report, as the DISCUS report showed. I think we have two choices here. I think one is we can wait for the state to do what it wants to do. Certainly, historically it ought to. But I think if we are proactive and we think strategically, and I personally, the judge and I had a discussion about this recently, and I think he has a very strategic view. We have got to look for ways that we can share in the cost and partner to do this. We can't sit around and say, well, my turn's next. I mean, all we have to do is look back at the DISCUS report and see how we were very consciously shortchanged in this part of the state by Austin. And it was really horrifying. It was a report that was squelched, so the public really didn't see it, and it came out finally, and we were all horrified. That can happen all the time, but we have to proactively go forward and look for ways that we can share in the cost, because that money's just not going to fall to us anymore. And we have certainly seen the way the state takes earmarked funds in Fund 6 and keeps them there, or keeps them in the general fund. We can think of a number of circumstances there. So I think if we can think creatively about what this is going to mean to our economy, how this is going to bring money in, we've got to have those roads, and we've got to have them sooner than later. And I think everyone on this court will agree that the inland port is going to be our big economic generator in this area, and we've got to have the infrastructure to be able to support that moving forward. So I'm really for creative ways of partnering.
Judge, I agree with that. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be a good partner, because if we are a strategic plan, the way we have positioned ourselves, especially here across transportation, especially in 2021, when we're throwing off 90 to 100 million a year, that's what we've set ourselves up to do. But I can say this philosophically, as I look at the state, when they look at the district attorney programs, the PD programs, ZACS programs, as well as across the board, where the state's responsibility is, there's no way that we can ever step in and pick up the ball that they should be carrying to the extent that they can. Because the only way we can do that is on the backs of the taxpayer, of property owners within Dallas County. So we have to be very smart about how we strategically align ourselves with the state, yes, and we've done that. We have a history of doing that in this county as well as this region, and being good partners and getting those projects where they're at a point where we can build them. So we've done that, and we'll continue to do that. But at the same time, I don't want to give away the farm.
Right. And I went down this road, so I'm going to try to close this door. I would say, by saying a couple of things. First of all, the state's here. They came in yesterday, in reference to the Texas Commission on Jail Standards. Yeah, they came, well, they're going to be here until Friday. We're going to post Friday for the review. We got it this morning. I did an email at 6:30, and apparently with regards to the fire, we seem to be okay at that particular time, but we have a list. We have a list of what they'll be doing for the next few days. As you know, when they do an urban county, they close out, they bring the inspectors in from all over the state. They call it large urban county. So yesterday at 1 o'clock, we did a briefing with regards with reference to the inspectors, and they left there and immediately began looking at our life safety, which is primarily fire. As I said at 6:30 this morning, I think we got a text. I did email, got a text that said we were doing well so far. So hopefully by Friday we will have the third successive report of certification for the Dallas County Jail. They were very complimentary yesterday. And the only thing that came up yesterday that has never come up before was all of a sudden, apparently they went into another county. And now, by the way, I guess Chief Costa did that. Okay, come on, I do it. I'm glad it was on my deal to check off. They tagged us yesterday with having to all of a sudden look at every jailer's license. They've never done that before. So, but I pitched it to Chief Costa yesterday,
and what we did was we generated a report with everybody that's licensed, everybody that's employee at DSO, and just to show all the two close licenses, and they're going to take that and they may go and spot check files, but originally they were going to go through every single file just to check licenses. We're trying to make it easier for them, and we have that spreadsheet for them, so we'll work with them on that. And I can tell you that at the end of the day, we had a end of the day meeting, and they were very satisfied with what they found. They said that they've been through South Tower, the holdovers, and some other spots, court desk, I believe. They found a couple of small little issues that we dealt with, nothing really major. They said that they were very satisfied, and it appears that they're doing a check, not as deep, as intense as they have in the past, because of what they see when they go in, that everything's running smooth. So we keep our fingers crossed, and we've got everybody on their toes. I think it's going to be good.
Thank you, Chief.
Congratulations.
We're almost there. We
come a long way.
Well, we will be, once we go Friday, we will be the county in the state for 3 consecutive years under our belt in terms of being having certification.
Not bad for me, the second is here in the state and the second largest in the country. Thank you, congratulations to the sheriff, the first time. Hey.
Yeah, and $193 million.
Well, hey, we're investing, right?
Well, I'm really so glad you said that because I was told at one forum that we didn't need to spend that $193 million. We just spent that money because we didn't have anything else to do.
Oh, goodness.
And that was a great debate.
Oh, I should hear about another thing. Well, hey, Aaron's working with me. Mr. Martinez, I'll send you a letter while I have you. I'll send it to my colleagues as well about maintenance for our buildings. While we're talking about maintenance, might as well
We're working on
take care of our house.
all of our infrastructure, including our vehicles. We'll have that to you first, and then how you want to distribute it specific training from you to your corporate, and the other corporate, for the rest of the county.
And Commissioner Garcia, on that note, I also like to this court sometime talk about policy of making some of our property available for community gardens since it's spread all over the county. And that might be something, especially in these recessionary times. I've seen in other cities and counties around the country that they do use their public property. You don't have to mow it then because you've got areas where people are going. So it might be something that we would consider.
The rooftops and all that.
Well, in New York, there's local buildings, but publicly owned. But also, it could be some of our properties that we have around the city. I have looked at the community gardens in Lake Highlands and in Farmers Branch, and they're very popular and very nice places of respite. That'd be great.
Before we go, Mr. Luster, what's our ETA on that briefing on TIP, whatever?
Next Tuesday.
So, on the issue, we began to talk about NCIP just kind of very broadly, on the issue of transportation. Here's where we are with the state. The state originally asked for us to put our NCIP money on 35 towards the 35 project. They pulled back from that, so our cities won't be required to do that. They originally asked for a transportation reinvestment zone down 183. Cantrell expressed concerns about that, as did others. We then will negotiate that away and pulled out of that. But we do want to push forward with this transportation reinvestment zone on Loop 9 next week. And hopefully in the next month or so, or a couple of weeks, we'll have the numbers back from the state about how much is coming here. I think, again, this happened last year. Dallas County got more state money than any other county. And I think that's going to happen again this year. So,
and I said last week when they were up here doing the presentation, let me just say that that goes to good work on transportation, because we have not had people to go in there and just kind of hunker down and fight the Dallas County like the team we have there now. And so that's primarily because of y'all's leadership. That's the only reason we've gotten that money. I mean, in fact, there's people to the west who are not very happy with us right now because of that.
But I have nothing but love for that.
Yeah, yeah, peace and happiness. Anyway, the fact is, we're not getting money. Okay, but that's really about the leadership, which all of the executive and I for one really appreciate.
Thanks for that. Of course, nothing's done until it's done. We're still working.
No, just
And we're going to put him to work as well.
No speakers today.
No speakers today, Judge.
That's got us on everything. So we are now reconvening the public session and recess for our closed session.